Okay, so this is Carly, and I am James Adair, the agent who cares. We're on a balcony. We've never done that before.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the room? We're on the 14th floor. What number?
14214.
There you go, 14214. So, hey, so we got through the launch party.
Yep.
It's been raining, but now it's beautiful. What'd you think of the ship? Because we've never been on any MSC before.
It's a great ship so far. You need to explore some more, but
It's big.
it's big.
It's big.
Very big.
When they say it's big, you don't get how big it is.
Yeah, it's very big.
So tonight we have formal dining. I'm sorry, not formal dining. We're going to the steakhouse tonight, the fish house tomorrow, and then formal dining on the
Dining room.
whatever they call it. Anyway, so I don't know. It's pretty exciting. I'm excited. I have been like a kid, and she has been like the grown up. It'll be okay. We're getting there soon enough. So very excited. I'm sure you've seen other tours. If not, it looks like a room. It's pretty big. The bathroom is nice. I would say that the shower is 24 by 24.
Maybe.
It's modest,
Yeah.
but that's what it is. I think the one thing I really like about the ship is that it feels newer, not just because it's more modern, but it's just clean lines. Every place is a different experience.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's very different.
And I'm a food dork, and I thought for sure that would be my drive for all vacation choices, but this has just been really nice. So,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
We'll see how the food goes.
Hey. So, we are hanging out in the Piazza Grande, or maybe, I don't know, some version of that. Anyway, and then this is the little chocolate and coffee place. And I wanted to give you the hack for getting on and getting through the drill faster. I saw on a lot of forums people got all bent out of shape because it doesn't work like a normal ship. And that's the allure of this thing. We should call it the allure of not normal. That's what it's called. Anyway, so check this out. Here's what you do. Be in your room right at 4 o'clock or whatever your safety warning is, right? Listen to the video. Okay, it's on station 5 for English, and then a bunch of others. And then a minute that they're done, it'll have a number that you put in the phone, and you call the number, right? Do that immediately, okay? Get that number in, then run down to your muster station. Now don't run. The only way that you would know where that muster station is if you already been there. So before you land in your room and wait for this video, know where the station is. Then get to it quick. Now they encourage you not to use the elevators. They want you to use the stairs. And quite frankly, it's because the elevators are not fast enough when there's nobody on them. So take the stairs, get down there, and then you're in like that. We were the first in our muster station, and while everybody was just putzing around, we were already freebirds. They do call by deck as well. I think that's to keep it a little less chaotic, but if you have the secret hack, you'll get through like that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about specialty dining. A lot of ships have gone to this pay for better quality stuff, and that really ruffles the feathers of the people that like to cruise for cheap. I get it. I get why you feel like you paid all this money to get on a cruise, but what can you expect for $100 a day? I mean, they're burning so much fuel, staff. I mean, even if these people are working super cheap, I mean, it's expensive to run a ship. So I get it from both perspectives, but we went and did 2 dining experiences. We did a la carte because we felt like we'd get more options rather than the meal plan, and we probably save a little more money in some ways and spend a little more in the other. We're not really dessert people, so we didn't need the whole outlined pre-done menu, but what we were able to do is order the larger steak, order the fish, the things that were bad mammer jammer. I will say this is surprising. We went to the steakhouse, and they only have 5 items that are non-a la carte or non-standard anyway. One of them was a big halibut. I was kind of surprised because Carly's halibut was still dry on the outside. The inside was still great, but I think that it had been done earlier, and in the steakhouse, possibly the steaks are all done individually, and then the fish might be done in the start of the shift. It's my best guess. Flavor was fine, but it just was not spectacular. My steak was phenomenal. They had little extra sauces that were totally useless, honestly, because that steak was so good. The sauces might have been great if I really dove into them, but oh my gosh, so good. So both of those are totally worth it. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. I mean, I really want to try the hibachi and all that, but we really only had enough time to do 2 of these restaurants. So if you really want to keep trying more cuisines, then maybe just get the meal plan and then visit, because then you get more variety. So if that's a thing for you, I just really wanted to get a great steak, and I did. And then the next night we went to the fishing place. Oh my gosh, I thought I was just ordering a black sea bass. I didn't pay attention. I wasn't reading the menu, and they taught me a new way to prep. So I'm going to try this. Basically, it was a big salt bath for the fish, and they baked it, and it took like 40 minutes. She told us it was gonna take 40 minutes, and it was spectacular. The fish was great. The yield wasn't all that awesome because it looked a bunch bigger than it was, but it didn't matter. The flavor was good, and we had some octopus, some crab cake, and then I forgot what Carly had, but anyway, so all in all, would totally do those again. It was great. One thing I will say, and this is kind of, I don't know why this was a turnoff. I don't know why I felt this way. I know the staff working in there is usually higher skilled, better English, better craftsmanship when it comes to the table service. So I get that. What was odd to me is when I was out working, walking the decks, my same servers came the next day to try to sell me dining. Not that they were trying to sell me, but whatever, they're walking around. And I just felt like that cheapened their skills to make them salesmen. Just felt weird. I don't know why. But the same people that you have to reject on the way in that are saying, oh, come and dine with us, they might be your actual servers. So that might get weird if you get rude. But they're out there trying to sell more tables so that the room fills up. And, you know, we only had probably 5 other people in the seafood restaurant. And then the steak place, we only had probably 8 total. So that was just weird. But other than that, I still would totally do it, enjoy doing it. And we don't bat an eye. We have to spend a little more money because it's just that much better. I heard on one of our previous videos, prep for this trip, that, you know, the comedian shows are terrible because they're just not dirty enough. And well, I don't think they were terrible. They definitely weren't very dirty. I think that MSC probably tries to keep a little bit more of a, I wouldn't call it family friendly, but I would definitely call it more of a less objectionable kind of media content. The Michael Jackson show was very, very good. There was like a stripper pole thing going on, but it was so classy that I think even if kids saw it, they wouldn't be offended. But for the most part, I have to agree with that person's commentary, is that it felt very church light. They didn't say that, but that's sort of what it was. You put a few Jesus jokes in there, and it would have been a church camp thing. So not objectionable. The comedian was super cool. He invited us from the island, and we went and saw him, said hi during the show, so that was kind of cool. The Michael Jackson thing was really great. Those feet were like fancy feet. He did a great job. Like really good. Costumes were great. No complaints. And if somebody complains about that, then they're just whiners. Dining room. This has been another point of contention for a lot of people online. I would say this: I'm not the best judge for main dining room because I very rarely go to them on any cruise, but we did want to try this at least one time. I had short ribs with polenta and some lime zest and something else, and that was actually really good. I was kind of surprised at how good that was. It was the chef's choice. I could see why, because it was good. And then Carly had a pasta. I've seen a lot of people complain that there's not enough staff or it's understaffed in the main dining room. All I know is that when we walked in, there was about 400 or 500 other people, and you took a dining room from 0 to, I don't know, 700 or 1,000 in 10 minutes. So there's not really a way to efficiently and quickly get food out. They did their best. But if you feel like it's understaffed, it's probably just because you want to be able to eat really soon and you might have gotten sat with that many people. You know, we had the appropriate number of servers. It's just, we got quadruple million sat. That's it. I think there's 2 buffets that you should know about on Seaside. This is all about Seaside, all right? There's the upstairs and the downstairs. Downstairs is Marketplace, and I forgot what the upstairs is. Upstairs feels a lot to me like it turns into one big long line, whereas the Marketplace downstairs feels like there's a lot of start and stops to different lines, and so it's much easier for you to get in and out, and you don't feel so frustrated. I want to go over like the fails and the wins in each of these like areas. On the fail side, because everybody loves to focus on the negative, eggs. Basically, any form of the eggs were pretty terrible. Honestly, they just were. I can't redeem that. Good palates and bad palates alike, the eggs were terrible. The other thing I noticed that there was like reoccurring themes every once in a while, like barbecue, baked beans, and hash that looked more like a broth or something, like liquid hash. It was weird. So I think what they tried to do was come up with some American ideas and put them out there, and they're just not really good hits. They did have an omelet station that always had a massive line, which is great, but you cannot run a ship of 5,000 people off of a 4-burner station. It's just not enough, and so I think people probably get all pissed off because of that. So if you want an omelet, you're gonna stand in line for it, or just wait until off periods. All right, that's the one thing we did notice. If you go during off times, you got a much better shot. If you're the first in the dining room, you're not gonna be the only one. There's gonna be a billion people there. So just wait until the major flow. Wait until people get off the island or go to the island. Wait until, you know, the lion's share of the first crowd has gone through, and then get in there. All right, I wanna talk about the wins. These are the wins, okay? Anything bread on this island, on this boat, was fantastic. So, I mean, holy crap. I think the reason why the pizza gets such rave reviews is because the bread or the crust is so good. Otherwise, it's pretty similar, or at least most of what they had is pretty similar to any other cruise line for toppings. That's disappointing to me because I was kind of hoping for an actual more Italian-like pizza, but I get it, they're trying to feed Americans. Croissants, oh my gosh. But anyway, that goes in the bread category. Coffee was great no matter where you were at. If you went to the specialty coffee place, if you got any of the cappuccinos, or the regular old coffee in the main space. My wife really likes those little pump coffee things, you know, and so those were there, which was nice. That's not typically on other cruise ships, so that was good. Again, the bread's amazing. I want to talk about the pasta. Jury's still out for me on pasta. I don't have enough experience with legit Italian pasta to know. I just did some study recently on the bolognese sauce and how you actually make that, and that dish I tried was freaking amazing, spot on for what that bolognese should be, not the Americanized version. Now, I think otherwise it's pretty hit or miss. We had main dining room pasta, and I was just sort of like, I don't know what's happening here. So I wouldn't go on this ship and have really high expectations on the pasta yet. Maybe if I had tried more of it, it would turn out better, but that's where I got there. The other thing that I think is pretty interesting is that they had a station called Cold Cuts. It's basically like a charcuterie station, but I don't think Americans understand what that is on the mass. So they had some really decent cuts of meat. I mean, not like super fancy or a ton of them, but it was nice to have them there. I don't know who would make a sandwich out of them. They were really good just to eat by themselves. And then the main dining room, they also had that, and it allowed me to, you know, again, have a little bit more fun, elegant dining, even if it wasn't treated really well. So yeah, that's what I'd give it on the buffets. The one hack that's kind of fun, and I wished I had been able to try this, is that if you ask the maitre d' what other food do you have not on the menu, you got a better shot at seeing what else they have in the crew mess, which a lot of times is more ethnic, more interesting foods. Our particular boat had a lot of Indian and a lot of Filipinos on it, and so they rotate their crew mess with some of those ethnic foods, which I hate calling it ethnic, but anyway, with those foods. So it's super interesting if you can get it. This time I didn't ask, I was planning on it, but literally we were sat with a billion other people, so I just let it go. So give it a try, let me know if that worked for you. Hey, let's talk about one of the most controversial things related to MSC. Before I got on this cruise, found myself in this wonderful rabbit hole of researching how the thing worked, right? And some people who get on the cruise ships, which is normally me, goes with no intention, no idea of what's going on. We just go. When elevator works, you get freaked out. So this is sort of the pattern. 9 people arrive with their bags or whatever. They push a button to go to floor 6, and then it takes forever, or so they think it takes forever. Or when they get in and it's already full, or whatever. They don't know how it works. Well, here's the hack. You push floor number, okay? And then it goes into a thing, right? So let's go floor 6, okay? And it'll give you a time on there, how long it's gonna take your elevator to get to you. I didn't know that until the end of the cruise. Anyway, here's the thing. If you have 8 people, you need to push that floor number 8 times so the elevator knows 8 people are getting into the thing, so it knows how to modulate how many floors to stop on. If the elevator's already gonna be full, it won't stop on a floor, it'll pick a different elevator for you. So that's sort of the science behind it. But if you don't have the informed people using it, then it doesn't matter how smart the machine is, it'll still fail you. So there is one elevator hack. If you like my channel, you can use this hack. This is a real estate channel, not a travel channel. But if you go to the back, that's all I'm gonna say. You'll get anywhere you need by going to the back. That's my hack. Push the button, the like button, and that will be helpful. I don't know if this is on every ship or just our ship, but the back is always the answer. Okay. This is kind of fun. I want to talk about rooms a little bit. I don't know if you know who Mr. Dietz is, you know, Happy Gilmore, or whatever that Adam Sandler show is where he just appears out of nowhere and does his stuff and leaves. That was our room attendant. We met him a couple times, but for the most part, he'd be in and out. So I think he would have like a little bell that rang as soon as we left, and then by the time we got back, there was already towels. I think he was in our room at least twice a day. Sometimes it was creepy because we didn't assume he was coming in, but also we didn't put our stuff away as if we were getting guests. You know what I'm saying? So like, pajamas might have been on the bed and then they got made and the pajamas moved. I don't know. It's just a little weird, maybe not. I don't care. We left him a tip, but it was just awesome that he was there, but a little weird too. So here's the logistics on the room. You probably know this already, but you put your key card or some sort of card inside of this little slot as soon as you walk in. And this is the key thing. You put the key in there to turn the lights on in there. And at this point, it gives you, I guess, 10 minutes to get out of the room before it automatically explodes. But here's what we figured out a little late in the trip, that there's little buttons that say do not disturb in service room that you can push, and there's lights on the outside of the room that'll tell your steward what it is that you want, like leave me alone or not. And if you're in there, one day we left the key card in so that we could have the AC still going, and then we went about. Well, I would assume that told the man that we were in the room. We came back, and the guy had already been in there anyway. So having the key card in, if we were in there, we'd had no way to know. It would all been the same.
I was gonna go this way and see.
Okay, so that's that. So there is a do not disturb button. You can do it in case if you're in there getting busy or whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. Tell them not to do that. We also got the wristbands. I don't know that we would do the wristbands again, honestly. Like, you still had to take it off. They had to scan it, and it became a thing. I love the idea of it. If you lose stuff, then it's probably for you. But otherwise, it just seemed it was easier to use the room card for everything. Just was. You can't get off the ship with just your thing. So with just your wristband, so you might as well just get the room card. I thought they were gonna be great, and they just turned out to be me. I'm gonna talk about this island. I've heard from some sources it might be haunted. However, the tourists aren't the haunted. It's the folks that get to live here all the time. You know, things fall off shelves, whatever, but that's not what I want to tell you about. Here's what I find very interesting. It's a very young island. It's in its puberty years. And what's fascinating is the trees. To me, the trees are very short for how thick they are. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, like, I've lived in Florida my whole life. I have left it, so, and then I come back every once in a while. But, like, I don't know if you can see that over there. You probably can't see it. I'm going to try and film some others, but, like, a lot of the trees are super short and thick. So I don't know if these are, like, pygmy trees or, like, Oompa Loompa trees or what. But definitely, they're shorter. It's not a problem. It just means it's young. Oh, here's a good example right here. So, like, you set this up on, at least in Florida you do this, so that the thing doesn't blow over until it takes root. So that tells me a lot of these are really, really new, okay? But also with the palm trees, super small. Very young island. And I think it's cool that they've taken this sort of wasteland and turned it into something awesome. The other thing that I find interesting is a lot of the rocks here, they don't have algae, they don't really have coral, they don't have growth on them yet, and usually within about, feels like a minute of putting a boat in the water, barnacles start growing. So a lot of this stuff is super clean, super new, super fresh. So if that's your jam, this is really great. It's a nice, beautiful, it reminds me of a place called Peanut Island. There it's got a lot of growth, but super fun, nice little place. The people are out swimming in this super clear water. They say that this is like a coral refuge. And honestly, I just didn't want to pay the money to find out if that was true or not. Because when I watched YouTube videos of other people snorkeling, the fish were cute, but it wasn't something that you'd see in like the Keys or in Biscayne Bay or like Palm Beach. So I kind of held off on that. But this island's beautiful. What do you think?
It's beautiful. No, it's beautiful.
Taking a rain break. True tropical weather will be over in about 10 minutes, so let's just nestle in and have a little quick chit chat. So the only thing, not the only thing, but probably the biggest sort of that I might have doing MSC is that the language barrier is still pretty tight. In order to work on any cruise ship or any airline, you have to have a working knowledge of the English language. I'm not saying that's right or wrong ethically, but at the end of the day, there's a common language for these industries. On the other cruises I've been on, some of the crew members may have been struggling with their English, but I've noticed over and over here that they're hiring so many people because they have so many new boats that the same standard that other cruise lines can hold, I don't think MSC can hold, just because they need so many bodies. Their ships are really large and they put so many in service that it's pretty tough. But I've noticed, like, if you want to order a drink and you say, hey, give me an old fashioned, that triggers something in their mind and they go, let me make you what I think is an old fashioned. And in the steakhouse, it was okay. There was no, fancy cherry. It was like the regular run-of-the-mill cherry. And old fashions, you don't do that. And then the other was, we were trying to order a, what was it, a ginger?
Moscow.
A Moscow Mule. And it came and it was okay. It was a little strong. So we said, can we get a little bit more ginger beer? And so they brought over ginger ale. And maybe that steakhouse didn't have ginger beer, or it was just being lost in translation. There's other places that have the ginger beer that we know of. It just, maybe it wasn't there or whatever, but the language barrier was really odd. So I think that's really my only sort of, so far, negative or room for improvement. Yeah, I don't know. What's your thing? Food review. So there's a whole lot of different opinions on food. It feels like, to me, that food is treated like the last political season. Each side cannot understand the other side's position. Either the food sucks or the food's great. So I wanted to try it for myself. A couple of things to note. That's what I ate, and I'm just gonna go over the high points and then discuss the low points, okay? High points, 10 out of 10. This salad, this Greek feta thing, oh my God. Whoever was in charge of the herbs did a marvelous job. Marvelous. So good. Best thing I eat out here. Next, got the hamburger. Now the hamburger itself is not necessarily bad on flavor. It was done on a flat top, which is not a bad thing. It's got, it's like some sauce in there. But sort of the tone for all the other hot foods is that it's got 2 crostinis or 2 croutons on either side called a bun. When you leave it out on a burner for 2 hours or 10 hours or however long it's been out here, it gets really crusty. So it loses some of its allure. MSC is really good on their bread. Like, that's my takeaway from this whole cruise is the bread. These are 2 pieces that I got from up here. Not the same. When you put them on the boat and they've just come out of the oven, it's a totally different experience. These are totally forgettable. The other thing Oh, I'm gonna do the standout first. So we got the Greek salad, then the not blackened, jerk chicken legs or thighs, whatever. It's a dark meat. The flavor was great. It's probably been over there for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, but it still tastes amazing and the texture's great. I'm kidding, it's not 2-3 weeks. But like, you know, you figure we've all been on this island for, I don't know, hours already. So I don't know when that came off the boat or when it's here or if they made it here, but at the end of the day, that food will hold, a leg will hold more taste and moisture. Compare that with the fish. You can't. It's not something that should be served out of a shaper, period. Unless if you're doing maybe a cream stock. And this is also the same Caribbean sort of jerk seasoning. It's just not edible, to be honest with you. I'm not mad about it. I just know that you can't eat a product like that after it's been sitting in a shaper, an electric shaper at that, in a humid environment. It just doesn't work. The other things that I do want to highlight is I tried each one of these, the potato salad, the cauliflower, and the corn, and the what are they called?
Chickpea.
Chickpea. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. I want to call it hummus, but it's not ground. So anyway, tried each of those, and no matter if they're on the boat or if they're out here, they're just not winners. Tried them. You know, maybe some people who have plainer palates will be okay with it. I need a little love, a little spunk. So for that, this one is gonna get my 10 out of 10 for, what is this, Seekers? Seekers
On the island.
Seekers on the island itself. So there you go. Hey, you might have heard that before in this video. We are gonna check out the Lighthouse Bar. What's this called? Lighthouse Bar. So we worked a strategy. So far it's proven to be true, is that let everybody else on the cruise go and enjoy the heat of the day, and you come out when the sun's gone. So there's no sun. This is perfect. If you're from Florida and you know how hot it is and you know you might die in the sun, this is what you do. You come out after all the festivities. So we did the slides, the pool, and then the other thing.
Had some lunch.
We had some lunch, and then we smoked a cigar on the front of the boat.
Yep.
There you go. One thing you got to know is that lighters are hard to come by, so you got to borrow them from a friend for your cigars and boat, and then now to be able to enjoy some of this evening hours. And then also this thing, if you haven't seen it yet, apparently is amazing. In the evening, at what, 10 and 9?
One at 9 and 10.
9 and 10, I believe. Now there is a comedian on the boat today, so we just met him, and he sort of like shame is not the right word. What's the word?
Encouraged.
He encouraged us. He's like, you got to come to the comedy show. And like, he was trying real hard. And he's tall like me, so he also felt like a giant. So like, we're kind of together in cahoots. I don't know why I loved it so much. There are window washers on this boat. So let me just tell you real quick. There are these rails. I don't even know what the right word is. Tracks that run around the outside of the boat. And there's like 3 levels, maybe even more than that. And my gosh, these little machines go and wash all the windows so that, you know, nobody can get to them but this machine. Anyway, I think that just goes to how cool and how well thought out the flow and all the things that they value for like order and aesthetics was. And that was carried out throughout the whole ship. So really, really pleased with that. Probably my favorite aesthetic about the whole boat was those stupid staircases with the shiny crystals. Loved them. Again, I've been on other boats where I was happy to get away. And then finally I came back at the end of the cruise to realize there's visual chaos. And that was my problem. And this ship, woof, just beautiful. I just kept commenting how great this was. I felt like I was 100 years old. I'm like, honey, look at how beautiful this ship is. So aesthetics for sure. Food, whatever. Entertainment's pretty good. There are still lots of things to do. They may not be quite what they do on some other fun ships, etc. But definitely, at least for a 4-day, plenty going on. There's plenty of stuff that we didn't do that we wanted to do. So there you go. Some of you guys might wonder, you might have seen that I may or may not enjoy cigars from time to time. Some people say they're smoking all over the boat. There's really not, honestly. The best place is in the back of the boat. Very cigar friendly. Lots of guys there with great sticks, great quality. They share their lighters and cutters and all that stuff.
So go to the back of the ship. There's some on the front, the aft as well, but for the most part, the back, it wafts its way in to the lower part of the boat, so it's kind of like what a casino area would be, kind of smoky smelling. That's what this is. Anyway, it's totally worth it. I will say this, if you try and sneak your booze on, don't do it with your carry-on, okay? And if you have a torch lighter, don't try and sneak that on in your carry-on, because Mildred or Karen or whatever her name is going to be working that metal detector. It's going to find it. No matter how many sex toys you put on it to make her eyes avert, she will see right through them. She will find your lighter and your bourbon, and they will be tossed. And then you will forever have to borrow from all your cigar friends. So smoke on the back of the boat, and whatever you do, don't pack your stuff and your carry-on.
Yeah, man.